The fact of the matter is here, my friends, what we have with the Sam Kerr case, who is a female footballer who plays for Chelsea, she was accused, stood accused of calling a police officer stupid and white because she disagreed with being arrested for a ruckus in a taxi, in which the taxi was left worse for wear, shall we say, after her patronage. And she dismissed this officer as stupid and white and then tried to flip it around and argue that actually the officers themselves were guilty of racism. Work that one out. If you can, you're a brainier mind than I. And the other story I want to talk to you about is a Muslim rioter who was on the other side of a riot in last summer's riots. It took him something like 56 days to come forward after being caught on CCTV throwing a brick as a missile. Now, I needn't explain to you countless scores of working class white men and women who have been banged up for social media posts, banged up for a whole host of things, who haven't got off scot-free. This fella did. So I think that you might be thinking, "What, Darren, how on earth are these two things linked?" Because, my friends, they sum up two-tier Britain, and I'll explain. Let's get into it. So, first up, have a watch of what Sam Kerr was like, how she acted with these poor officers.
But can you listen, come and pay for what the
I've listened to you a lot because I had no choice to, because you're a very loud person.
But can you not listen to the recording of the man?
But there's no recording.
You're more worried about his car than our two lives.
No, but the thing is though...
Yes, is that true?
Let's hindsight this. Has anything happened to you? No. You are going off of hypotheticals that could have happened. They didn't happen, did they? You do not know that man's intentions. You've just gone off a hypothetical of a scenario that has happened to someone else, and you're saying that could have happened.
Because she was saying that she could have been killed.
That could have happened. It didn't
by this
happen.
taxi driver.
But what we're saying,
what has happened?
Hypotheticals are fine, but do you think it's okay that a taxi driver says, "I'm not letting you stop anywhere and pay the bill"? Do you think that's okay?
Because he was driving you to the police station, which is
but
what he's
do
done.
you? But
Do you
police
think,
station or not?
Do you think a taxi driver that's going to rape and kill you would drive you to a police station? No.
You're sick. You're honestly sick.
Well,
You were saying
It's a good point.
You're literally a white privileged person. You're literally a white privileged man.
Okay, but you don't need to be racist towards me, do you?
No, you're literally, because we asked him to stop at the point of please stop 5 or 6 times.
A million times.
What does that mean to you?
Well...
But then what is the point?
Can we talk to someone else?
Can we talk to someone else? Yeah, you're irrelevant.
Can we talk to one of you guys? Or
Can we
like,
talk
is
to
there
a
like
major
person?
We want to talk to someone major. Because we're done. You're like irrelevant.
Okay, and so are you.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to talk to you anymore.
Alright, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm done talking to you anyway.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I'm assuming you two are dating, because you did say that to me earlier, right? Can you listen to her, please? Because she's trying to tell you. I'm understanding what you're saying.
I'm not paying for some dodgy window. He deserves it. I'm not paying for it. I'll sit here till 4 a.m.
Horrible,
in the morning
obnoxious
and get
cow.
the Chelsea lawyers on these stupid.
Alright, we'll call them then.
Yes, I'm not taking the brunt of this, because this guy is in the wrong.
Well, you could okay.
I'm not bearing down. You will take him.
We got
So it goes on like this, right? And then she says that actually he's stupid and white, and, you know, dismisses him that, "Oh my God, you guys are so fucking stupid and white." Now...
They hung up on us.
Okay, but they wouldn't do that though.
Oh my God.
They wouldn't do that. You should have spoken to the...
Stupid and white.
So, right, if Jack Grealish, for example, right, or if we say a whole host of, I could list a countless number of Premier League football players. If white Premier League football players had got into a ruckus in a taxi and there'd been some altercation that involved a window damage in the car itself, let's not forget a taxi is a livelihood, right? That if that car is damaged, you lose potentially several days' work. If a white Premier League player had said to a black officer who had been given this Premier League player by a taxi driver at a station who was clearly acting like this, completely unreasonably, and said that the officer in question was stupid and black, do you think that actually there would have been this kind of nonchalant shrug of the shoulders? I really, really don't. Now marry this with the fact that today we get this story in the Stroke on Trent Live, in which a judge says that Ibrahim Mir had a very small involvement compared to others who've been sentenced for their parts in Anarchy. Anarchy being the riots that took place last summer in the wake of the murder of 3 beautiful and injury of 10 others in Southport. And he was masked. He was wearing a mask. He was caught on CCTV throwing a brick. And yet he was allowed off, and it had some sob story passed off in court, with the judge actually saying that, that small involvement part, and in my judgment, you did throw it further than needed, but not in the direction of anyone, and no one was hurt. You were wearing a balaclava, a futile attempt to disguise yourself if that's what you were trying to do. He didn't come forward until after being found out that he was on CCTV. He didn't come forward for 56 days. I just want to double check that number, but 50, if I get that right, 56 days after the August 3rd riot. So he handed himself into police on September 28th. Now, think, my friends, think of the countless examples that I've chronicled and others, countless examples of people being arrested for, I don't know, saying that the Southport murderer was a Muslim, or saying that they turned up to outside a mosque with a St. George's flag. That's one example. Or they shouted at a police officer. That's another example. I could go on and on all evening. It's littered with these examples. I know an 18-year-old who's in court this month who sent out a tweet, who is going through the process and has been reported by activists online and faces jail time, an 18-year-old. He didn't wear a mask, a balaclava, throw a brick, and be caught on CCTV doing it, and get off scot-free. Why is it that in the case of Sam Kerr and in the case of Ibrahim Mir, you find that actually your skin colour matters? You get diversity points. It helps you in the judicial system. That actually it's a get out of jail free card. And I say this as someone who doesn't believe these people should have been in prison. I don't want tit for tat. I just want equality, a level playing field. Because I bet my bottom dollar, I know for a fact in the case of Ibrahim Mir that everyone that was white that did similar things or even lesser offences than that was imprisoned, has been imprisoned, is in prison. In the Sam Kerr case, I don't think anyone should go to prison for a speech crime. She made herself look like a right arrogant arse, and she will suffer that for the rest of her days, and good. I don't think she should go to prison for it. But I do think that someone's life would be turned upside down if they were a white Premier League player that said that about a black officer. You see where I'm going with this. There are examples of two-tier justice littered across Britain today. This is Starmer's Britain. Starmer's attrition against us. Starmer's attrition to say that actually you don't matter. And that's the lesson that I've learned over the past 12 months. It really, really is. Fewer than 12 months. Only been since July last year, and it's been on steroids. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I'm going to see what my panel make of this now, and go in to Grimes's grotto. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Elliott's hidden there, but hello, Chloe, and hello, Connie. There's Elliott there.
Hello. There's Elliott.
Now, I was sent this story by a very kind viewer who emailed me on my contact form and said, Darren, have you seen this? And it was just published there today, the 12th of February. And if you combine it with the Sam Kerr case, I mean, do you think that I'm onto something? Am I totally mad, Chloe?
I think that it is clear as day that we have two-tier policing and two-tier justice in this country. I don't think we need any more examples to be sure of it. The people who suggest that we don't have two-tier policing, I mean, they live under a rock. They've got their head in the sand. I couldn't believe when Nigel Farage, when was it, a month or so ago, he said something in Parliament and he said two-tier policing, and everybody just sort of laughed and giggled and sniggered at him as if he was some sort of mad conspiracy theorist. But I feel like we've just seen example after example of this being the case, and I think you're absolutely spot on, Darren, to say that if you flip the colours around and it was a white Premier League player in the case of Sam Kerr saying you're fucking stupid and black, that would be the end of their career and potentially jail time as well. And I think it's good for you to caveat the fact that you don't think that any of these people should be going to prison, but you just want equality. Because a lot of people, when they see us making points like this, like, oh, why wasn't this person put in prison? They say, you're a hypocrite. You said you were a free speech absolutist, but now it's only free speech when it suits you. But actually, we're just pointing out the fact that there are double standards.
Connie, I mean, you are young. Do you worry that actually this direction that we're heading in with, not that Chloe's old, by the way, but you know what I mean.
I was just going to say, Connie's the new young person. I'm the new old person on the podcast.
You're an OAP. Connie, though, do you worry about this, the direction of travel? Because there doesn't seem to be any pushback.
Pushback against people like Sam, you mean?
Pushback against the injustice of the two-tier element.
Oh, yes. I mean, I completely agree with, especially the point, Chloe, about if it was a especially a male footballer, their career would be over. Although you say that, and then there are footballers who have extremely serious allegations and they're still playing. So I think it's hard to say. But yeah, I was really shocked when I saw the outcome. I could not believe that there's nothing been done to, there was no words of saying yes, obviously, and she even said in her statement that she said, maybe I should have expressed myself differently, but the message still stands. So she doesn't regret the message that she was trying to convey. She just thinks she should have said it in a more sensible way. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. And I actually think, that she should be reprimanded by Chelsea for just being so completely disgusting.
I mean, what a ridiculous, all of this stand up to racism in football. And when something like this happens, it's like, oh, poor her. She was put through a traumatic ordeal in a court case and we're still going to support her all the way. Call her out.